Welcome back to In Play, where we talk about what's in play around sports. Today, we're going to talk about our free agent predictions as the MLB offseason has gotten underway with free agency opening on Thursday. So we're not going to go through our whole free agent predictions because that would be like maybe a 3 to 4 hour video. We're going to split this up into 3 parts.
With today being tier 1.
Yeah, today will be,
right.
I guess you could say tier 1. You could say like section 1. We're going to get the big guys out of the way today.
These are the most talked about free agents in our opinion. So
these are the guys that you'll probably see starting on these teams next year rather than the role player guys like a Nelson Cruz or someone like that.
Right. These are more impact players.
Yeah. So before we get into that, though, we should probably talk about what's happened around baseball free agency so far. We did talk about the Robert Suarez signing in our last episode and Clayton Kershaw, but we didn't really get into Edwin Diaz. So if you guys want to talk about that a little bit.
I think it's going to be a bad deal eventually. He did defer the money though, so that'll help the Mets. It'll probably be a meme eventually if the contract doesn't go well. With it being another situation where they're paying a guy for a whole decade, and MLB trash talkers will post Edwin Diaz Day, where he gets paid each year. But, I mean, the Mets have money and they want to win now. So, I mean, I understand it. And at least this year, he's coming off a great year. So,
absolutely. That's where I'm at, too, with it. I mean, 5 years, 102, biggest contract for a relief pitcher in history. I'm just afraid it's going to turn into a Bobby Bonilla situation also.
And, it seems like MLB is going in that direction where relievers are going to start getting paid. We also saw Suarez and Montero from the Astros get a big bag. It just looks like relievers are being held in a higher standard because starters really only go 5-6 innings at the most nowadays.
Yeah, and you mentioned Montero. He was the other one that re-signed with the Astros a couple of days ago for, I think it was 3 years. I think that was a move the Astros needed to make. He was a really underrated piece in their bullpen last year. I personally had him going somewhere else, but we can get into that another time. But I think that was a really good pickup for the Astros to help get their bullpen back to how it was last year, and that was dominant. Anything for me, Max?
All right, look, here's my thing. You cannot say you're, trying to be a competitive team and then letting a guy like that go. You just can't do it.
Absolutely.
So I think, he had him right there, and, he was going to make him pay whatever he wanted pretty much.
Yeah, no doubt in that. I think that was the case with Robert Suarez and Edwin Diaz also.
I mean, yeah. If the recipe...
I was talking about Edwin Diaz. My fault.
Oh, I see. Well, either way,
Montero too.
Montero, Suarez, and Diaz can all fall into that category.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So just bring the guys. They just won the World Series, and then the Mets went to the playoffs. They had a disappointing end of the season, but I believe they're really better than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm-hmm. And then some trades happened around the league also, so smaller ones. I know G-Man Choi was traded to the Pirates, kind of a shocking move. Might see more of that from the Rays soon as they're trying to shop people to make room for their prospects coming up. So with the Rule 5 deadline being tomorrow, you might see some guys traded. Like I think I have Tyler Glasnow moving teams. I also have a guy like Yandy Diaz moving teams, but that's another thing we can get into later. But you might see some teams trading with the Rays in the next couple of days.
I have Yandy Diaz moving too.
Yeah. And other trades, it was Nick Solak was traded the Rangers to the Reds. Remember seeing that? I mean, that's really a smaller move. And
World Series caliber move.
Yeah, I mean, Reds definitely winning the World Series next year, I think. But other than that, I mean, yeah, not much has happened in this opening weekend of free agency. So, without further ado, why don't we just get started with our free agent predictions?
Let's do it.
All right. First, we're going to start with Michael.
Wait, do we have Max with us?
I don't know where he went.
I'm plugging in my laptop.
All right.
Oh, I see.
Go ahead, Bryce.
All right. So let's start with Michael Conforto. Conforto hasn't played a big league game since 2020, or 2021 maybe. I think it was 21 because he didn't sign with the team last offseason. So I think he had surgery also, which caused him to miss all of this year, but still didn't sign with the team, so didn't really matter anyway. Jacob, you want to start? Where do you have Michael Conforto going?
They showed interest in him from the middle of the year, if I remember correctly. I got him going to the Houston Astros. I think they're going to let Michael Brantley walk, and they're going to fill that hole with Michael Conforto on a 2-year deal.
That's definitely an upgrade, I think. I mean, I know Michael Brantley was a hitting machine, but he's like, 35 now? You're talking about Michael Conforto, who's coming off some of his better years with the Mets. I think that could definitely personally happen. I think he goes to the Atlanta Braves. Losing guys like Robbie Grossman, Adam Duvall, they don't really have a spot open in the outfield, or they have a spot open in like left field because you've got Michael Harris and you got Ronald Acuna. So I think Michael Conforto is going to go to the Atlanta Braves. He's used to that division, played for the Mets all those years. I'm pretty sure he's used to playing at Truist Park. Plus, he can face the Mets about 14 times a year. So I think that's a matchup, or that's a match I could absolutely see happening.
I mean, part of my reasoning for Conforto going to Houston too is he's still kind of going to get a prove-it deal, I think.
Absolutely.
And Houston is definitely a hitter's ballpark where he could hit, if he's right, 35-plus home runs.
Yeah, no doubt.
In that ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think he's going to get a 2-year deal, kind of a prove-it deal, you know what I mean? So
he will absolutely get a prove-it deal because it's just because he missed all of 2022.
Yeah.
Max?
I have him going to the team that just loves their absolutely mid outfielders, the Texas Rangers. We saw them, I think we saw them last year get Steger and Simeon. So, they're trying to compete. They have some young guys coming up. But I could see that lefty bat fitting in there. We know they love their like old outfielders, like not old, but kind of not that good. We saw them pick
Cole
up
Calhoun.
Yeah, Cole Calhoun, and then I think the year before that, David Dahl, like guys like that. But this time I see him going there on, like you said, like a kind of a prove-it deal. And I know it's a big ballpark, but he's always been an on-base guy, so I can see him going one or two with a club option or something like that.
Absolutely. I think all 3 picks could potentially happen. I personally like Astros and Braves more, but I could absolutely see the Rangers going and grabbing Conforto. Moving on, Ross Stripling.
Braves, I have no analysis to it either. I just said Braves.
I feel like that's a Rangers move. I feel like grabbing a guy like Ross Stripling is something the Rangers would do. Because they grabbed John Gray last year. You're talking about a guy who's not great, but not bad. A veteran who can not lead a rotation, but he can be that veteran guy in that Rangers rotation.
Look,
I mean, I also see him as a 4th or 5th starter, and it seems like that's what the Braves would need. So
absolutely.
Ross Stripling will be a St. Louis Cardinal in 2023. Yeah, I can see it. They love their old pitchers who throw like 90 miles an hour.
Yep.
And,
with the relievers on the verge of snapping their arms. Good time.
105. But I'm going to the Cardinals. I think he's gonna fit in nicely there. Give him 5-6 innings every start. Probably give up like 3 or 4 runs, but yeah, that's where I'm going on maybe a 1 or 2 year deal with nothing more than $10 million a year.
Okay. All right. Michael Wacha. Another guy that can play both. Another guy that can both start and relief, like Stripling. I mean, another veteran. So, what do you have, Jacob?
I mean, I didn't really follow his year that much because he was with the Red Sox last year, but he had a lot of wins and not a lot of losses. I have him going back to where he started with St. Louis.
I'm right there with you. I have him going back to the Cardinals also. So look, I have him going to the Minnesota Twins. We know they're kind of in the middle. Like, do they want to compete or do they just want to be like really mid? But I'm going to the Twins right now. I think he had not quite sure, but I'm pretty sure I had a really good like analytical year. So I can see him getting, upwards of around like $10 million a year.
Well, I think he had a sub-3 ERA or close to that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
he had a lot of wins, so he keeps your team in ball games, and that's what the Cardinals need.
absolutely. Moving on, Nathan Eovaldi is the next one we're going to discuss.
So Eovaldi, I would love him in San Diego because I believe in high velocity guys with movement. But I see him going to the Los Angeles Dodgers because the Dodgers can get whoever they want, and I think they go maybe 6-man rotation this year.
I could see that, but you're talking about a Dodgers team also that just re-signed Kershaw, and you're going to see guys like Ryan Pepiot, Bobby Miller, and Dustin May starting games also next year. So I could see the 6-man rotation with Eovaldi, but I think they're probably going to want to like try to get those young guys to a good like level where they're at pitching right now. Me personally, I see Eovaldi going to the New York Mets, losing Chris Bassett, Taijuan Walker, Jacob DeGrom. They need pitching. They, I feel like a move for Eovaldi could look like a move for Bassett last year. You're gonna get a proven veteran who can like get into like the 3 or 4 spot in that rotation.
He
I
could really
think
light it up too.
exactly,
I've
exactly.
always
And
liked Eovaldi.
The Mets are a really good pitching team. I could absolutely see Eovaldi having a breakout year with the Mets next year. I could see like maybe a 1 or 2 year deal with an option, then him going right back to free agency next year.
I mean, I could also. I mean, I feel like I could. I want to say Padres, but like one of those situations, I think the Dodgers are going to just swoop in and take whoever they can get.
Mhm.
I want to say Padres because the Padres like have shown interest in him like before he went to the Red Sox, and the Padres keep interest in guys that they like Josh Hader. Um, I don't know another name, Soto. I mean, who
I
doesn't
mean,
have
Jurickson
interest in
Profar,
Soto?
we
But
had interest in
Pro
years.
Profar, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
any guy with Preller ties or interest is going to be on his radar until he retires. So
Yeah. I don't know if you remember in 2018 after he won the World Series with the Sox, we were like that close to signing him.
right.
But it was a massive overpay at the time. So personally, I was fine with not signing him. But this year, I mean, for the right price, I would not mind Nathan Eovaldi wearing the brown and gold.
Right.
Well, all right. He's not going to wear the brown and gold. He's going to be an Atlanta Brave, and he's going to get $17 million a year, maybe more. And I have them getting another starting pitcher, but we'll get into that later.
That's a huge overpay.
17 a year.
I think
17.
17 is fair for Evaldi.
When like 40-year-old Clayton Kershaw is getting like, what was it, like
It
20
was
million
20.
a year?
What I say
Yeah.
last episode, I said Clayton Kershaw could get 20 a year. It's exactly what happened. So, and now that I think of it, I could see Eovaldi
Does
getting
Bryce have sources
17
to
is
the
fair.
Dodgers?
I
Does
don't
he have
know.
sources with the Dodgers?
I might have an inside guy.
He is a Dodger
Okay.
fan,
I
so
might be Andrew
True.
Friedman.
Very true.
I might be him. So maybe I'm the
uh,
one signing their players.
well,
All right, moving
uh,
on. JD Martinez.
I got JD going to St. Louis. They're losing Albert Pujols this year. Nothing huge. I just think he's going to be their DH and he's going to protect Arenado in the lineup.
I got Miami. They need their power bats. They need a DH. They want to start contending soon, as Alcantara and Pablo Lopez are all doing really good. They got guys like Jazz Chisholm. They're an up and coming team. I think getting JD Martinez could start their competitive window, especially in a division like the NL East. The Mets are getting worse. The Braves are losing guys. Phillies just went on an unbelievable run, but I think the Marlins could sign a few big power bat guys this year to really bolster their lineup and make a push in that NL East.
I
Before we go back into the free agents, I have a take on the Phillies that when we get into our 2023 predictions for like standings and everything, that's going to just set everybody off the rails.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see that. That's
The
that in
Phillies
February.
have they're on my S list for the rest of my life. So, all right, go ahead, Max.
All right.
okay, so real quick, back to JD Martinez. I have him going to the Twins, but Bryce, I can 100% see him going to the Marlins. And you might think why that's kind of dumb. I could see him wanting to go there. Actually, he's from Miami, and they have a young team. I can see him being a leader. Jorge Soler wasn't exactly what they thought last year, so I think they could be on the market for more, power bats. And I think they're going to trade Brian Anderson, which might open up a spot at DH for him.
So
Have
I don't
a
see
Soler
them
play,
trading.
left field.
So I don't see him trading Anderson. I see him non-tendering him.
That's what
I
it
think.
was. That's what it was.
Okay. All
But
right. Cool.
Brian Anderson will not be a Marlin in 2023.
Yeah.
I don't think.
No way. He had a good 2019, but hasn't really shown much after that. Although he can play almost every position. He's a good guy to have. So we'll see what
He
happens
has an
with him.
absolute cannon too. I
Yeah.
I forgot who got thrown out, but when Padres were playing the
Will
Marlins,
Myers.
yep, he got
Oh, I remember that.
absolutely gunned.
Yep. That's why I could see him being on the Rays next year. The Rays like freak tools like that.
Especially
Yeah.
him staying in Florida too. I could see that.
Yeah.
All right. Now this one's gonna hurt a little bit. Jurickson Profar.
Jurickson Profar, I have going back to the Texas Rangers because of the reason Max said earlier for what did you say, Michael Conforto being mid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see Profar being that mid acquisition in the outfield for the Texas Rangers.
Okay. I got the Chicago White Sox. I think that's a fit that could absolutely work in there. They don't really have they have Luis Robert in center field, and then they have Eloy Jimenez in left or right. I think Profar could easily fit right into one of those outfield spots. You're talking about a switch hitting outfielder, Gold Glove capability. He showed it last year with us. I think Profar to the White Sox is a move that I can absolutely see happening this year.
All right, look, I got Profar to the Sox, but the Red Sox.
Red Sox.
I can see him going there again, $15 million a year and just like absolutely sucking. And they're gonna hate him there. They're gonna boo him. Probably throw stuff at him because it's Boston.
And him and Hosmer are gonna tag team there.
Yep. They're gonna be the next duo gonna haunt Padres fans.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we play the Red Sox next year too. So
we play everyone next year.
It's at Boston though. I looked.
So just expect Eric Hosmer 10 hits in the 4-game series and Jurickson Profar to have 9 home runs.
Throwing out
Gold
everyone.
Glove odds over at first base.
Yep.
So we're all in agreement. Jurickson Profar is not a San Diego Padre next year.
I don't think so.
He's not.
I don't think so either. All right, moving on to Kevin Kiermaier.
I have Kevin Kiermaier going to the Milwaukee Brewers. With that being said, I think the Brewers are going to blow it up. I think they're going to trade Corbin Burns. Maybe Brandon Woodruff, Willie Adames, those pieces. I think Brewers is a good fit because I think they prioritize fielding in center field with getting like Jackie Bradley Jr. last year. Even though it didn't work out, I just see Kiermaier in a Brewers uniform.
Okay, I have him going to the Texas Rangers. I feel like we're all
in
saying
agreement
this.
that the Rangers don't make good moves.
No, I think right now they have Adolis Garcia in center field. I think they could easily move him to right or left, and then bring in a guy like Kevin Kiermaier, who's a Gold Glove winner. That's a huge outfield over there at Globe Life. I think he fits in well to that lineup. Also,
and let's not act like Kiermaier isn't like a difference maker. I mean, he really is a lead out there. And he hasn't, like, his bat was kind of a bust coming in, being like a top prospect and everything. But, I mean, he could get it done well enough.
He's good for like a 240, 250 season.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly played on a playoff team with the Rays. So
exactly.
It works, It's just the Rays got to go in a different direction and take that next step.
No doubt. Absolutely. I'm right there with you.
All right. I have Kiermaier going to the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think they're going to get rid of Bellinger, whether they trade him or non-tender him. I think he's going to fill in nicely. They're pretty much the same player. Can't hit, great defense, great speed. Definitely a lot cheaper as well, considering Kiermaier doesn't have an MVP. So, yeah, that's where I'm going. Los Angeles Dodgers. Definitely going to kill the Padres, too.
Absolutely.
So I could see that happening, but I think the Dodgers honestly might just throw in Chris Taylor in center field full time rather than picking up a guy like Kevin Kiermaier.
I think they value defense too much.
I think they
Why,
absolutely
why
do.
do you think they got a guy like Gallo? They knew he couldn't hit, but, he had plus defense. Maybe could pop one out every 2 or 3 games.
I
Yeah.
also think Taylor's going to be back in the infield a majority of the time with Turner being
Yep.
gone.
I agree. And they're going to have, I think Miguel Vargas is going to get a lot of playing time.
Oh, he's at third base with Justin Turner going
They
in
still have
free
Edwin
agency.
Rios,
Right.
too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
They're a pretty
God,
good
they're
team.
so stacked, dude.
It's unbelievable.
We're talking about guys that'd be starting on other teams, and they're over here sitting
You
in
know
the
what else is
minors and on
scary,
the
too,
bench.
is go get someone like Devers, too. You never know.
Nah,
Yeah.
no.
They have the prospect capital, and their
They
number one
do.
prospect is a catcher, and they're set at catcher for many years. So
Yeah. All right. Speaking of catchers, Christian Vasquez.
I got him going to the Cubs because I think the Cubs are going to lose Contreras, but try to stay competitive.
Don't the Cubs
Somewhat
have
competitive.
a catching prospect?
They
like
do,
it's-
but
Yep.
I see them getting someone like Vasquez to fill that gap until he's like completely.
Okay.
So I have Vasquez going to division rival Milwaukee Brewers. Here's why. I don't think the
Division
Brewers are
rival.
going to blow it up.
The
Yep.
Cubs division rival.
Right.
Oh,
Cubs.
okay. I was
Cubs
gonna say,
division.
wait, what do you mean?
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think the Brewers are going to blow it up. I think they're going to try one more year. Now, are they going to go out and sign a bunch of guys to like 5-year deals? No. But I could see a guy like Vasquez getting a 2, maybe 3-year deal. I think he's kind of old, like in his 30s. But he's a great leader. We saw what he did for the Astros. I think he's going to be a great fit over there in Milwaukee.
He's very serviceable.
hmm
That's
I
another
agree.
guy I wouldn't mind being a Padre. For a catcher, he could swing it pretty, like, that's what you would want from a catcher really nowadays.
Yep.
But yeah,
So I have him going back to Boston. Really no analysis there. It's a gut feeling. I mean, the Red Sox do need a catcher. They're throwing Reese McGuire out there right now. I think Christian Vasquez loved it in Boston. He just got a World Series with the Astros. I could totally see him taking a team-friendly deal just to go back home, where he spent his whole career with until this year when he got traded.
I don't think
Right.
he'll take a team friendly deal, but if they're going to pay him, I don't think he would mind at all.
hmm
I just think he's like very affordable too.
Yeah,
So
agree.
I think a lot of teams will be in the mix. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Jock Peterson, probably one of the more underrated free agency options this year.
Oh yeah, I'm like super high on Jock Peterson.
Yeah.
Now that we're getting into the thick of the good free agents, I got Jock going to the Red Sox. I see him absolutely killing it there too. Going to left field, going to right field. I could see him playing some first base. Yeah, I just think Jock is like tailor made for that park. So
I have him going to the Seattle Mariners. I don't know why. That's just a match made in heaven for me. I mean, I know they have, what's his name? Jesse Winker in left and Julio in
he'll be
center.
gone.
But they just lost Mitch Haniger to free agency, so they
Right.
could. I know they have Jared Kelenic also, but how long are we going to try the Jared Kelenic experiment for? He hasn't shown much in the big leagues, so I could see them trading him. I could see them still using him off the bench, but I think Jock Peterson in I can't. It's Safeco to me. I can't call it T-Mobile, but I think Jock Peterson and Safeco is a match made in heaven.
I can't think of like a more predictable landing spot for Jock Peterson than the St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, they're going to pay him, probably close or upwards of 20 million a year, and he's going to fit in nicely. I do think the Cardinals are overrated, but he's going to fit nicely with Arenado and Goldschmidt.
I mean,
Okay.
I could also see him going back to Atlanta.
I could too.
Yeah.
But yeah, that
We,
that
we,
one
we,
between Boston
Bryce,
and Atlanta was with me. So
yeah. Bryce, you talked about they have a left field spot open or a corner outfield spot open. Could definitely see him going back, but
yeah,
my prediction is the Cardinals.
Okay. Gene Segura.
I got Segura going to the Miami Marlins due to all the reports saying that they want contact hitters. I just see Segura going to the Marlins, possibly being a trade candidate towards the middle of the year. He's someone that can just fill the gap, really, because they're like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they're in the thick of contending or selling or rebuilding. I don't know what they're doing. So I just see him with the Marlins.
Okay. I got the Chicago White Sox grabbing him. I think we're going to see this White Sox team try to go crazy this offseason just because they were like they're supposed to be really good last year, and then they just were not. So I think they're going to try to like go nuts in the free agency, picking up guys like Profar, Segura, and a couple others. We'll get into that later. But I think Segura fits in at at guaranteed rate with the Chicago White Sox.
All right. I think Gene Segura will be a New York Yankee. I think they're going to get him for probably what was his club option? Was it 14 million? I believe it was.
I want to say it was 16.
16. I can see him getting around like 15 million. He's not a bad player. But I have the Yankees getting rid of Glaber finally.
I do too. Yeah.
So I think he's going to fill in nicely there at second base. And we know he can move around the infield.
Have we thought about the Yankees putting DJ LeMahieu back at second base?
That's what I was thinking too, but I think they would rather keep him at or I can see him going to third.
Well, they have Donaldson.
Well, I don't know if you can run Donaldson.
I mean,
out there
first
for
base is
another
open as of right now. I'm
It
sure they'll
is.
try to get Rizzo back, but
I think LeMahieu's been DHing for them lately. No, that's Stanton.
I think he was
Has to
playing
be
first
Yankees.
base. He was coming off the bench, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
I have a prediction for who the first baseman will be for the Yankees, but that's in our second video. So
Okay. All right. Kodai Senga.
So this is based off of another signing from a guy that we love, that we know and love. I got Kodai Senga going to the Texas Rangers. Saw a video this morning that a lot of teams are going to be interested, and rightfully so. He has no qualifying offer, and he has no posting fee because he's a legit free agent coming over from Japan.
Saw that video too.
Yep, I'm sure we all saw it.
Yeah.
I just have him going to the Rangers. I feel like I don't know. They willed Yu Darvish years ago, and that worked out for him great. And I just see this as one of their big pickups in the offseason.
So, with that, they did grab a guy like Kohei Arihara a couple years ago, and that didn't work out well. But they did bring Yu Darvish in way back when.
Kodai also throws like 100. So
yeah, I think he's going to be a generational type talent.
Yeah.
Coming over.
Pretty sure he's like 29 though, so I have him personally going to the Giants, San Francisco Giants, but nothing more than a 5-year deal.
Okay.
The scary thing about Senga too is he's been in pro ball since he was 19, so he's got a lot of innings on that arm. So
Right.
I don't know if his velocity will dip in a year or two. I mean, I may just be an idiot. He may just be a flamethrower forever and be a clutch a clutch arm in the playoffs or something. I don't know, but
Well, I mean, here's the
we'll
thing
see.
though: is Yu Darvish has been throwing for like 20 years,
Right.
like not even joking, and he can get it up there in 97, 98 still. So
Right. Well, they master their craft over in Japan, so it seems like they never get injured.
all right,
I have
Bryce, you at a
Senga
live concert right now or
apparently.
what?
Yeah. So
all right.
I think Senga goes to the Padres. Now
I
it's a
would
little
love that.
biased.
I would love
It's a
that.
little biased. But I think Kodai Senga is a guy the Padres could absolutely use. And he'd fit into that rotation as a 4 or 5 starter as it is. So I think you've got Yu Darvish on that team. You've got Ruben Niebla, the pitching wizard, and you've got Hideo Nomo working that organization. There's connections that could turn Kodai Senga into a monster if he comes to San Diego. Plus, Petco's a pitcher's park.
Here's why I'm not too keen on that. I remember seeing a report during the season when there was like all these like trade rumors about Otani, but they were saying that like they're two like top dogs and like they respect like in Japanese culture they respect each other like too much to be on the same team, if that makes any sense. I remember seeing a report about it, but it was about Darvish and Otani. So I mean, Senga probably a little different, but I would love for him to be a Padre, obviously, but I unfortunately don't see it happening.
I would love him to be a Padre too, especially because he doesn't have that qualifying offer or posting fee. But they've struck out on Japanese signings the last couple of years and like big signings with Otani and Suzuki last year, and it seems like they're always like really close to signing with the Padres, and then they just like pull out of the deal.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is with San Diego, but it just seems like we can't land those Japanese free agents.
Hey,
We got
do not.
Ha-Seong Kim, though.
That's Korea, buddy.
Oh, I
Come on
know,
now.
but still. Just saying. We've dipped into the international market.
Don't forget about the legend Kazuhito Makita.
Oh, don't remind me of that guy.
Dude,
That's horrible.
He was worse than San Diego Jared Weaver.
Oh,
He
absolutely.
was bad, dude.
I mean, the dude threw like, what was it, a 72 mile per hour fastball? That's what it seemed
he
like.
got rocked, dude.
Every time he was
could have gone
pitching.
up there and hit one out.
It was.
Dude, I've never seen like at least submariners like can like get it up there in the big leagues. Like that dude could not get it up there.
His fastball looked like a curveball.
Yeah.
That was bad.
Those were the bad. Those were the testing the waters years. Having Christian Bethencourt pitch.
Oh, dude. Oh my
goodness.
that
was bad.
Having
that was rough.
Those were rough.
Flipping off the fans after hitting a home run.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into
yeah. Let's move on. Zach Eflin.
I got Zach Eflin going to the Texas Rangers because it's a pitcher's ballpark, and I could just see him in a Rangers uniform being a 4th or 5th starter.
I got Eflin, being a Milwaukee Brewer. Like I said, they're not going to blow it up, but they're going to make, Eflin, I don't think is a small move, but he's not a huge move. Mm-hmm. They're going to make kind of, moves like that where, you're probably going to forget about him, but then, come September, come August, you're like, well, that guy he's having a pretty good year. And then next thing you know, Brewers have the 6th seed or something. And, we saw what happened with the 6th seed Phillies this year. Yeah.
I like
him.
I have Eflin as somebody like a Joe Musgrove candidate that may just need a new scenery, and I could see him like breaking out on a new team. I'm not saying he's going to be like Musgrove being a contender, like an ace, but like I just think if he gets on a new team without Nola, without Wheeler, he could have a chance at being like a very decent pitcher for a couple years to come. So
I have him going to Boston.
I don't know why.
I could see that.
I just see Zach Eflin wearing the blue and red. I I feel like it reminds me of Nick Pivetta when he went to the Red Sox. Both guys,
I
Philly, both underrated in Philly. I feel like you could see Zach Eflin really go off with the Red Sox, whether it being a starter or a reliever. He can do both, but I think he'll probably want a starting role. So
I could see him just being a cheaper Nathan Eovaldi too when they lose
Absolutely.
him.
exactly. That's what I was gonna say. He's
Absolutely.
probably gonna be cheaper than Evaldi as well.
Yeah, it's very similar pitcher, I'd say.
no doubt.
So
All right, let's move on to Tyler Anderson.
I have Tyler Anderson going to the Seattle Mariners as like a third or fourth starter. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it seems like they're not afraid to overpay for a pitcher
Mhm.
with Castillo, Robbie Ray. It just seems like a Mariners type move to go get a lefty. Yeah.
Okay,
What,
I
what
am going.
wasn't he on the Mariners last year?
That's what I'm thinking. Like I feel,
He got
yeah,
traded to
because
them at the deadline.
to the
I'm pretty
Dodgers,
sure.
he signed with the Dodgers when he was in the Mariners.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do
Yeah,
remember
but he
that.
wasn't.
But I-
He didn't have that type of year. You know?
No, yeah, no.
he was not that good.
He was still that guy with the funky delivery that was good to be like a 4 or 5.
Yeah,
And then the
he
Dodgers
wasn't
turned
in
into
the Dodgers.
fucking.
And he'll
Pitching
suck
lab
next year.
yet.
Don't worry. When he leaves, he'll suck
Yep. No, yeah, 100%. 4.5 ERA.
unless he faces the Padres. He'll go 7 innings,
Yep.
2 hits, no runs.
Yeah.
11 strikeouts.
Yep.
So I have him going to the Mets. No,
I could see that. It's I can see him going to the Mets and getting like something crazy like 18 million a year. But honestly, I have him going to the Royals. I see them trying. We know their pitching has been struggling for a while, and we know they're trying to compete. So I can see them, getting him. I believe Greinke will come back as well. I saw a report on that the interest is mutual. You have two veteran guys like that at the top of the rotation, and I think guys like Brady Singer and young guys, they're gonna improve the most from those veteran guys.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the other Dodgers left-hander that they turned into a machine, Andrew Heaney.
I got Heaney going to division rival Arizona Diamondbacks because we have not said any Diamondbacks moves yet. And
Well,
I think they're going to try to be competitive this year. I don't think they're going to go over the top, but I see Heaney as a very serviceable starter for the young Arizona Diamondbacks.
with the
Diamondbacks had a really underrated pitching staff last year too. Like nobody really
They
talked
did.
about them. They had
Yep.
guys like Zach Gallen, and they were underrated. Trust me. So I have
I
him
trust
going there?
you.
No, but
No.
I could see that.
I could see them picking up a different starting pitcher. I personally don't see Andrew Heaney pitching. I don't see Andrew Heaney pitching in Arizona next year. I know
I
that
just don't think they have like a good lefty. I mean, they have
Yeah.
Bumgarner, but he's Bumgarner now,
maybe Sean Manaea did throw that no-hit bid on the
As-
second night of the season.
As long as he's not a Padre, that's all I care about.
Yeah. I mean, if he has the second half he did, I hope he's a Diamondback so we could face him.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, look, here's the two teams I do not want Sean Manaea on next year: the San Diego Padres and the Los Angeles Dodgers. Any other team, I'm
You
cool
would
with.
go crazy on the Dodgers.
I'm
Okay.
terrified of players like mid players going to the Dodgers because they're gonna unleash everything that
Just
a player
look,
has.
Look at Anderson. Look at Heaney. Look at Max Muncy. Chris Taylor. These are all guys that were like borderline like
Trace Thompson.
minor leaguers.
Yep.
And now they go to the Dodgers. They turn into like Barry Bonds.
I
All
mean,
right,
who
well,
knows if
Johnson.
Bellinger was even good, you know?
Right.
I think it was.
Let me give my prediction on Heaney.
Yeah.
He's going to go to the Philadelphia Phillies. That's
Okay.
my prediction. I think they're gonna make a couple big moves like we saw last year, and then they're gonna make some smaller ones that really might push them over the edge.
I have him going to Toronto. No real analysis for that one either. I feel like Toronto could use a pitcher in that rotation right now, especially with Jose Barrios like not showing what they've traded him for. I could see Heaney going up north and either doing really good or sucking so much.
Yeah, I can see him, being really mid there.
Yeah.
But
Rangers are
they
just hard to. They're just hard to predict, like free agents, because I don't know, like
Exactly.
the vaccination rules and all that. And
well,
Yeah.
I think they
That
dropped.
was-
I think they dropped the vaccine thing.
They did. They did for the postseason.
Yeah.
So-
but
of course, for the postseason,
Yeah.
right,
so Whit Merrifield could play.
real game changer right there.
Yeah.
Here, I like Heaney to the Blue Jays. They have Gosman at the top. They don't need an ace, but they need
Well,
innings.
Is Gosman the ace, or do you think Alec Manoah?
Gosman is okay.
Manoah's the
Both of
ace.
them. It's 1A, 1B. Like they're both
Okay.
really good. And for Barrios and I guess Heaney, if he were to sign there, they just kind of need 170 innings.
They need them to eat innings.
3.6 ERA.
Yeah. Exactly.
Can Heaney eat those innings though? I feel like he was like a 5-inning guy last year.
Yeah, no, he
Well-
was, and he was injured too.
Right.
I think he was an innings eater when he was with the Angels, if I'm not mistaken.
I just remember him on the Angels being pretty solid, then him
Yeah.
just sucking on the Yankees, and then
Yep.
being really good on the
He's
Dodgers.
legend. They got to retire.
Sonny
his legend.
Gray, or so many guys go to the Yankees and just absolutely blow. Just crazy.
But then you have guys go to the Yankees and they're like really good.
Yeah.
Look at
mean-
Nestor Cortez, Clay Holmes, guys like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Martin Perez likely to accept the Rangers qualifying offer.
Wow.
Wow, that's actually crazy.
Wow. All right.
So
Well,
he's going to take
I s-
the 19 million, but he's betting on himself for a second year in a row.
Yeah.
that's
he sucks
19
this year.
million. The Rangers are giving him 19 million.
Wow.
Damn, it's going to be a crazy offseason then for pitching because Kershaw getting 20, Perez now getting 19.
Well,
Suarez got
Perez getting 19 isn't a huge deal considering it's 1 year.
yeah, but still,
He's coming off of an all-star year too.
yeah,
Yeah, he was really
But-
good last year. But I'm mostly surprised that he didn't cash in for 3 or 4 year
yeah,
deal.
exactly. Do you guys
But,
want to
I
get
mean-
his prediction out of the way since we know he's about to sign with the Rangers?
One thing real quick with Perez is I think I don't think there was going to be like a huge market because of the qualifying offer. So
Right.
I'm thinking
that
that's
really
why he may
kills.
yeah, and there's a lot of starting pitching on the
Yeah.
market this year. So
There was a lot of qualifying offers sent out there,
Mhm.
so we'll see what happens with that. I know Chris Bassett is declining it, but
Tyler
so
Anderson's another guy actually too.
he could accept it.
Well, no, he declined it.
Oh, he did?
But
Okay.
he did get a qualifying offer. Yeah.
I thought he would have been a guy that would have accepted it, but okay. All right.
All right.
Do you guys want to do Martin Perez right now, or do you want to just wait till next episode?
We'll just wait. Then
Okay.
you can
Yeah,
do-
just wait.
We can talk. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
So on
Uh,
to Kenley.
Did we finish Heaney?
Yeah.
Was that the last one?
Yeah.
Okay. So Kenley Jansen. Don?
I have Kenley Jansen going to a team that values closers. I have him going to the New York Yankees, and I have Aroldis Chapman not being a New York Yankee next year.
That sounds like a Chapman move. Like, it feels like Kenley Jansen will be the next Aroldis Chapman with the Yankees. A guy that they hate. I don't know why.
But
I
I
don't-
feel like I could just see him like with the cutter compared to Mariano, even though
Yeah.
he's not Mariano Rivera.
No.
You,
way.
you never know what Matt Blake will do with guys too. I can
Yeah.
see him turning Kenley just into a monster.
And he's coming
That's-
off of a good year too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was solid.
I have Kenley going to Texas. I
Okay.
just the Rangers, like we said earlier, they're gonna try to they signed Seager and Semien last year to $500 million. So I could see them still trying to sign more guys this offseason, especially to like try to contend in that AL West. I mean, Astros are still the Astros and the Mariners. But other than that, I mean, you have the Angels, Rangers, and A's. So there's a relative. Like, the Rangers could contend. I could see him overpaying for Kenley, giving him like 20 mil, 20, 25 mil.
He won't
He's
get
gonna
20,
get
but
20 million. I think he
I
will
just,
because
I,
you
he
think
got
so?
like 18 last year.
I could see the Rangers overpaying on Kenley Jansen.
Well, here's what I have him getting. I have him getting, like 1 year, 15, 16 million to
Okay.
the Detroit Tigers.
Ew.
Sounds kind of, but
Disgusting.
they had a really bad year last year.
Yeah.
Who couldn't use another bullpen arm? And, I think they're trying to, take a big step. And if they don't, then guess what? Trade deadline, they'll get a nice package for him.
That just sounds like
If
a
he's
Javi
good.
Baez deal.
Well, it's going to be 1 year. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I know it's 1 year, but I feel like I don't see Kenley as a Tiger.
I do, and I can't see Kenley getting a multi-year deal. I think he's just going to be signing 1 year, unfortunately, for the rest of his career.
The main man,
Hardy, what you got? He says New
Mrs.
York Yankees.
All right, there you go. All right, moving on. Andrew Benintendi.
I got Benintendi going to the Seattle Mariners. Jesse Winker was a disappointment last year, and I think he's a big upgrade over Jesse Winker.
Well, Jesse Winker was injured for most of last year, so
Jesse Winker was also the worst outfielder in the major leagues, I believe, in the analytics stats and everything, and he had a horrible attitude in Seattle. So I think they're going to get rid of him. Benintendi is a lefty bat, pretty much just small upgrade over Winker. I think he'll do well in that park too.
okay. I have Benny going back to Boston.
Okay.
I know you talked about Jerickson Profar earlier fitting in with the Red Sox. I think Benny is a key guy that the Red Sox could bring back just because they know what he's worth since they've had him for a long time. He's put up good seasons with not good with the Yankees. He was injured for half of that, but was he with the Royals? Was it?
Yeah.
It was the Royals.
Yeah.
I don't know why I forgot about that.
So you see them getting Profar or
No, you had Profar.
Oh, that's right. You had him on the White Sox.
Yeah.
Never mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so okay. Well, I have him going to the Rockies. I can see him getting like a 3 or 4 year deal and just tearing it up. He's gonna have like probably 850 OPS, kill the Padres, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I can see it. I can see him going there. And I think he can be pretty good there too. Obviously, it's Colorado hitter friendly, but
Mm-hmm. Now, Benny has always been a guy the Padres have been looking at. Would you guys be down if the Padres brought him in?
No, I think we need power.
It really just depends on the money too. Like
Mhm.
if it's like dirt cheap, yeah, but he's not going to make dirt cheap money.
No way.
No way. He's going to get close to 20 probably.
I wouldn't be opposed.
Go ahead, Brad.
No, you go ahead.
When you have guys like Ha-Seong Kim in the lineup, you have to have power from other guys. Like
Absolutely.
if you're relying on Ha-Seong Kim at shortstop, which I think they're ultimately probably going to do.
I hope not. I hope Tatis
you have to have slug elsewhere,
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I personally wouldn't mind if Andrew Benintendi was a Padre next year, but it all comes down to what the contract is like. And I know you hit it right on the nail. You need power in that lineup at Petco. I mean, you got guys like Trent Grisham, Ha-Seong Kim. Like, you need power. Why do you think Brandon Drury was a good fit? Why do you think – I know Josh Bell couldn't hit a bag of bricks, but he could pop one out every once in a while. So I think power is something the Padres need to go after, and you'll see that with one of my predictions in the next episode. So
yeah, they need power. It's not even like there's no question about it.
Absolutely. All right, Jose Abreu.
There was really 2 teams on my radar for Jose Abreu.
Mm-hmm.
And I went with the San Francisco Giants. due to the money that I think he's going to make and that the Giants have. The other team I had was the Houston Astros because I think Gurriel will be gone, and I just think he would be. I think his best fit is with the Astros, personally, but I just think the Giants have like 80 million to spend, and Abreu's going to demand at least 20 million a year. So
Okay.
I have him going to San Francisco.
I have him re-signing with the White Sox. I can't see Jose Abreu anywhere else next year. I think he's a White Sox for the rest of his career. He's shown he's had success in Chicago. He won MVP in 2020. I mean, I think plus they
Do you
need
remember when he won MVP and he just started punching himself in the face
yeah, it was 2020, I'm pretty sure.
live on the show? Like he
Yeah.
won MVP and he just starts socking himself in the face.
That was a weird year. Him and Freddie winning MVP. It's just nuts. But yeah, I can't see him leaving the White Sox.
All right, I got myself on mute because got the water heating up. But I'm gonna give one short and sweet. Miami Marlins veteran, veteran leader. Sorry, not a veteran. Close to home down in Cuba, and they need leaders.
Cuba.
So that's my prediction.
I 100% could see that happening too. I
You
mean,
think Garrett Cooper's gone then?
oh, absolutely.
Coming off an All-Star year, I see him
They
in
will.
San Diego.
They will trade him. I don't know about that, but I
I
do
just think,
see
like
them.
I said, with Preller's past interest in guides and like holding interest, that there's been a report at least once a year that they like Garrett Cooper. So
I see Garrett Cooper in one of two places. One, New York Yankees. Two,
former Yankee,
the Atlanta Braves.
why
I
Atlanta
guess
Braves?
he just feels like a fit with the Braves. A guy that could come off the bench like Robbie Grossman was this year.
I don't think you're getting an All-Star from 2022 and putting him on the bench though. I could if you
This is the
say
Braves are
DH
talking about
maybe,
though.
but they have Wilson Contreras, or not Wilson Contreras, William
William.
Contreras.
Well, William
DH
could be
with
playing
Darnell.
catcher.
Right.
Darno could be moved. A little
Right.
preview of our trade deadline, our trade predictions.
Yeah.
All right. Jamison Tyone.
Tyone, I have going to the San Diego Padres.
Ew.
I
No
think
way.
it'd be a awesome move for the Padres to get Tyone. I think it's really exactly what we need. When the Padres pitchers struggle, they struggle with walks. Doesn't allow them to go deep in games. I believe he's one of the top pitchers in the league in allowing the least amount of walks.
Yep.
I think it would be perfect for the Padres to get Tyone.
We
I don't
all
think so.
saw the tweet from Giannis, huh?
Giannis got a poodle.
Dude, one of
But
the best
I did
Padres.
I did like Tyone before that.
Not
But
to
yeah,
mention Tyone, friends with Joe Musgrove.
Joe Musgrove.
I could see him, Musgrove taking him in and kind of showing him the ropes in San Diego, like he did with Adam Frazier.
also, let's not forget, like, if pitchers are on a prove-it deal, going to a place like San Diego is a smart money-making decision because least amount of runs scored out of any ballpark. That marine layer really knocks the ball down, at least the last couple of years. So if you're going there on a 1 or 2 year deal, I think that's a smart move. Not that Tyone isn't going to get paid now. So
I like Tyone to the Padres, and I really wish it would happen, but I don't think the Padres will be willing to meet his dollar amount. But I think one team that will is the Philadelphia Phillies. Like I said,
Okay.
they're not. I don't think they're going to be out there signing a DeGrom or a Rodon, but they have Nola and Wheeler at the top. They just need supplemental guys. So I have him going to the Phillies, and I think he's going to be a great, number 3, number 4.
Hardy.
He was cold. He was shaking. I had to go get him a blanket.
So I have Tyone going to the Giants.
Okay. That's what I originally had, actually.
I don't know why. That's just like that. Probably one of the picks I am most confident about. The Giants need pitching. I mean, Tyone would fit in as a great number 2 or 3 behind Logan Webb. And I mean, they still got guys like Anthony Desclafani and whatnot. I think the Giants do try to make a good amount of moves this year, especially after they didn't do well last year.
Right.
So I think
Giants have
Tyone,
a lot of money coming off the books too.
yeah,
Yes.
and they have
A
prospects
lot.
also, so you could see a trade or two out of them. So
It's scary.
I think Tyone fits in as the 3 there behind Logan Webb, and I think they have a new ace by a trade, but we can talk about that another time.
Okay.
Just a hint, though.
He's
Someone
not
from the
going
AL
there,
East.
buddy.
Someone from the AL East.
All right, let's
Tyler
move
Glass
on.
now.
Let's move on.
All right. Michael Brantley.
Don't need to go too much into it. I think he's going to go to the Cubs. I just see him being a Cub, batting in the top of the order. He's a high average guy. He's a professional hitter. He's not a bad guy by any stretch to have on your team. And I see the Cubs still trying to be competitive. And if they fail to be competitive, they could flip him at the deadline.
So I am going to the Blue Jays. If you remember a couple of years ago when they signed Springer, they were this close to signing Brantley also. It was even reported by Ken Rosenthal.
Right.
And then it fell through. So I think this is the year they do go get him and they do make that official. I think he fits in.
Look, I originally had Brantley going to the Rays, but seeing these reports that they're trying to trade guys, so they have their young guys on the roster. I'm going to switch it up a little, and I have him going back to his roots in Cleveland. I think he could, he'll fit in nicely there as a veteran. I believe Stephen Kwan playing left field, and they have Miles Straw in center. So, maybe play a little bit of right field or probably just DH.
Well, they have Oscar Gonzalez in right.
Okay, so
So
how
probably
sustainable
DH.
is that over 162? He had a great postseason, but
Well, he was a rookie last year, so
yeah. But yeah, I see them, probably making a move for a bat like that, and I think he'll fit in nicely there.
okay. All right. Let's move on then to Chris Bassett.
Chris Bassett, I have going to San Francisco instead. Like we said, they got a lot of money coming off the books, and they're going to need a starter if they don't bring back Rodon. So I got Chris Bassett going to the Giants. They seem to like veteran pitchers, and he fits the profile.
So basically, what we just did is we did a flip flop because I have Bassett going to the Padres.
Okay.
And then you had Tyone going to the Padres, and I had him going to the
I
Giants.
honestly had Tyone maybe going to the Giants too, and Bassett possibly going to the Padres. So I swing either way on those ones.
Yeah, I feel like Bassett to the Padres is a move they have to make. I think losing Clevenger and Manaea, you need to throw in for good number 3 or 4, and I think Bassett is that guy, especially because the Bob Melvin situation. Also, I think they move on from 1A and go to a different A.
I can see that.
Here's where Bassett is going to play in 2023. He is going to play on the south side, Chicago White Sox. Their rotation, not really that good, not as good as we thought. It's pretty much, Lucas Giolito, who's really not that good, and a bunch of nobodies. So,
are you forgetting Dylan Cease? AL Cy Young candidate. Are you forgetting Dylan Cease?
He's all right. No, I'm just
He's
good too. So you'll have Cease, Giolito, and then Bassett sliding in at 3. Then
Lance Lynn is the 4 then.
Yeah,
they have Kopech
Lance
too,
Lynn
right?
isn't.
Yeah, well, Kopech's a reliever though, right?
Oh, is he relieving now?
I think so.
Him and Crochet also.
Crochet, I think he's coming back from Tommy John, so probably won't be a starter.
Well, yeah. Well, then you have Reynaldo Lopez probably rounding out the rotation there. It's not bad.
They need solid veteran guys, but they don't need old guys like Lance Lynn.
No way.
Yeah.
They need guys like Bassett who can carry almost 200 innings, and 200 quality innings. innings as well.
Mm-hmm. All right. Anthony Rizzo.
This one's kind of out there, but I see him going back to the Chicago Cubs. I still think they're going to compete or try to compete. Their fans are growing hungry for wins and for them to be the big market team that they are. And I think it would be cool for baseball if he goes back to the Cubs too, because that's where he made a name for himself. And they need a first baseman. So
I am right there with you. Same exact reason, same exact location. I think Anthony Rizzo is a Chicago Cub next year.
But
He was
why wouldn't they just have paid him? Like why would they have done this whole thing with the trade and
maybe
I
they
think
wanted.
I think they got a lot of backlash when they didn't.
Maybe it's like a Roldis Chapman situation, like what the Yankees did.
Yeah,
They got guys like
maybe.
Gleyber Torres and whatnot for Roldis
But
Chapman.
they didn't get anything for Rizzo or Bryant. Like that deadline was horrible for the Cubs. They just And last year, I think Contreras is going to walk this year, and they didn't get anything for him.
Yeah. So
I
I
had a career year out of Ian Happ too.
Here's where I have Rizzo going. This is going to sound crazy, but when he signs here, everyone's going to call me a genius. The Kansas City Royals.
ew.
Like I said, they're trying to compete. They're kind of mid, but we'll see what they do. I think he'll fit in nicely there and on a rebuilding team as a veteran leader, and that's where I see him going. And you know what? I think they're going to pay. They're going to pay him, what he wants. Now, will he play good there in that gigantic park? Who knows? But there's no shift next year either, so you have to remember that.
Yeah.
We've also pointed out in our group text message that he's never played in a park that is a pitcher's park other than when he was in San Diego, and he was awful in San Diego.
Right.
I know his swing changed a lot from when he went from San Diego to Chicago, but he's never had a season in a park that's not favorable to him. Wrigley has the wind blowing out every game, and New York is a joke in right field. So
Yep.
All right. Wilson Contreras.
I got Wilson Contreras going to the Houston Astros. I have that because they had prior interest. I saw last week in an article after they won the World Series that they were like that close from getting him at the deadline, that a deal was already done, and somehow I feel like the Cubs may have pulled out just for emotion for some reason. Yeah, I think that one was on the Cubs. I still think the Astros are going to go all in on Contreras. He fits what they need with being able to call a good game, Gold Glove caliber, and then you just add a bat to that too. It's like basically having Maldonado with a bat, which is just scary if the Astros get him.
Once again, I am on the exact same page as you. I have Contreras going to the Astros because they were this close to getting him at the deadline, and they need a catcher. Vasquez is gone with they have Corey Lee coming up, but then again, this is Wilson Contreras we're talking about.
I think Corey Lee can play the infield a little bit as well, as well as first base.
Yeah.
The Astros are also in win now mode too, so
right.
You know what I mean? Like how much older is Altuve going to get, and
exactly.
Well, we lost him, but I have Contreras going to the Cardinals.
You guys hear me still?
Yeah. Obviously Yachty's gone. I think him and Jock Peterson will be two nice free agent additions for them. And I think with the Astros, for me, I have them landing somebody who I think is better than Contreras via the trade. So we'll get into that in a different episode, though.
I think the guy that you have going to the Astros, I actually have going to the Cardinals by trade.
Yeah, I think
me
we
too.
have him. Yeah, we have him.
Bryce and I are starting to line up our our predictions pretty evenly.
Yeah.
All right. So
Except for the next couple of ones, you guys might think I'm crazy.
I'm
So we-
curious what you guys have for the next one, actually.
All
'Cause I
right.
feel
Well,
like we might all agree on this one.
let's go ahead and get into the next one, which is Dansby Swanson.
I have him staying as an Atlanta Brave because I just think he's an Atlanta Brave, and I think he would get exposed anywhere else, to be honest with you. Former number 1 overall pick,
With the
had his
Diamondbacks,
breakout year
though.
this year. Yeah. For Shelby Miller, I believe the trade
That's a
was.
horrible trade.
Right. But yeah, I just he's pretty much grown up in Atlanta, so I see him staying in Atlanta. I see an outrage from the Atlanta fans I know personally, if he did leave.
So I don't have him going back to Atlanta. Now, that doesn't mean I don't have Atlanta grabbing a shortstop again. I have them getting someone in a trade. But Dansby Swanson, I think, goes to Seattle. I feel like that's a match that I like a lot. I know they have J.P. Crawford, but they could easily move him to second base. Just talking about Dansby Swanson here. I think Dansby fits really well at Safeco or T-Mobile, still, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why. That's one of the more ones that I'm confident about, but also not confident at the same time, if you get where I'm going.
Yeah.
I have Dansby going to the Los Angeles Dodgers, and I think he's going to be
God.
an absolute killer there. I don't see him going back to the Braves. I have the Braves getting a bigger guy, and I don't see Turner going back to the Dodgers. So I think Dodgers are going to be patient. They have depth. They don't need to go get they don't need to pay Trey Turner $300 million. They don't need to make a crazy move like that because they can turn guys like Dansby into those guys, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do for $150 million cheaper.
You guys think Dansby gets $200 million?
No shot.
I think he gets 180.
I was
He
going to
won't
say
even-
175.
I don't even think he'll get that. He'll get like 140, 150.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah, I
over
don't think
7 years or something crazy.
And I don't think he's proven to get more than 200. Trey Turner has, for sure. Bogarts
Yeah.
has, but Dansby has really been just like a serviceable shortstop for most years, and then he broke out last year into a star.
Yep.
So
All right. Let's move on then. Carlos Rodon.
I have 2 teams, and on our prediction sheet, I don't really put 2 teams very often, but I had the Yankees and the Cardinals as landing spots for Carlos Rodon. I think ultimately he ends up a Yankee. I just feel like the Yankees had prior interest in Carlos Rodon, and they're going to let Tyone walk, I believe. And I don't know. I see him with the Yankees more than the Cardinals now that I think about it.
Okay.
Harold Reynolds predicted that as well, so I'm tailing him.
So I don't have him going to the Yankees, but their AL East rival, not really a rival, but AL East guy, Baltimore. I think Baltimore they put up a hell of a season last year. So I think they add a couple of pieces this free agency and try to cement themselves as the up-and-coming team. I mean, they finished with over a 500 record last year. They got Adley Rutschman going crazy. Gunnar Henderson is now coming up, which is why I don't think they signed a shortstop. Just a bit of a spoiler for the big shortstops. But I think they do go and grab a proven veteran like Carlos Rodon to lead that rotation for guys like Grayson Rodriguez to come up with DL Hall. Or just, I think the Orioles are that team of the future.
I could see that, but Rodon will be a Texas Ranger, and he's going to get $240 million over 7 years, something like that, and he's going to be injured next year, kind of be mid the next year, and then have one really good year, and then you're never going to hear about him again.
You like picking the most mid teams ever to get players.
This seems
Royals,
like a Texas
the
Rangers
Rangers.
podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't mind the Rangers. I like Chris Young.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on then to Brandon Nimmo.
I got him staying with the Mets.
I do too.
I think
I
they're
think
just
we all
scared
do.
to. I think they're just scared to lose guys at this point.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna pay guys whatever they want because they know they have a good team, and
And Steve Cohen is probably one of the richest guys on the planet.
why why go out and try and get someone better than what you already had, and you just had a 100-win season.
Exactly.
There's no center fielders on the market either. So like you keep him or it's a bust, really.
Plus,
Pretty much.
the fans love him.
Right.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's
a really good player.
He's on
he's a good
base.
player.
He can hit.
He actually had a really good wild card series against the Padres.
He went crazy.
I want to say he had a 4-hit game in the second game and a hit in each of the games.
Yep.
So
He's a really good guy that I have the Mets. Like, they can't lose him.
yeah, I saw a list for like top 5 center field free agents, and Travis Jankowski was on there. So that just shows that like there are no center fielders available in free
Now,
agency.
that could
But you
be,
could go get like a Ramon Laureano from the
or like a
A's.
Brian Anderson. So you could see the trade market in center really pick up just because Nimmo is
Trent
really the
Grisham.
only guy. Trent Grisham, I guess, but that's something we can talk about another time.
Yeah.
All right, so we're in agreement. Nimmo back to the Mets.
Yep.
Right.
All right, now to the
First
next
one
guy.
of the day, I might add.
First one of the day.
First one that we all agreed on.
Oh, okay. Justin Verlander,
Astros.
Astros.
Astros. This is
There you
where
go.
my picks are going to get. They're going to start
Bland.
to get kind of, predictable. But these are big guys that teams don't want to really lose. So
These are cornerstones of these franchises.
right. Verlander's right there. He's going to get probably $25 million or something.
Well, his option
I
was
don't more than
24.
that.
His option was
get more.
24. He'll get more than I didn't.
He's
know
gonna
his
get
option.
he's gonna get like 30 plus.
He's going to get 30.
He's gonna win
yeah.
Cy Young also. He's gonna get probably he might get a Max Scherzer type of contract, except
Yeah,
instead
I was
of
gonna
3 years,
say
it'll be like 1 or 2 years.
Scherzer got $43 million a year, so expect Verlander in that range.
Exactly.
And
So
which I
once
think he
again,
deserves. He had a great year.
Oh,
He just
dude,
you know,
a 1.75 ERA.
playoffs.
For not pitching in 2 years, too.
Dude, the guy
Right.
signed a prove it contract, and he proved it.
Yeah, he's going to get paid.
He's Justin freaking Verlander, you know?
The dude won
Yeah.
MVP. Like,
So.
for a pitcher, how? So, I mean, that's all there is to it. Justin Verlander, he's him. He is him.
Yeah.
Definitely go down as a top 10 pitcher of all time, I think. All right. Let's move on then to Xander Bogaerts.
All right, this is where it gets like really hard for me. I keep going back and forth in my head. You see the reports that Dave Dombrowski really likes Bogaerts from when he signed him with the Red Sox.
Mm-hmm.
And like I really, really, really want to put him as a Philadelphia Philly, and I want to put Trey Turner as a Seattle Mariner, but I'm gonna go with my original gut and say Bogaerts is going to the Cardinals.
Okay. It's a good pickup for them. I mean, they need a shortstop
And he
because
plays Cardinal baseball.
Paul DeYoung, let's be real, he's not a star shortstop. So I have Xander going back. I know it's like the third straight guy I have going back, but when you think of the Red Sox, you think of guys like Xander Bogaerts and Rafael Devers. I don't think the Red Sox can afford to lose Xander Bogaerts. I mean, you could easily put Trevor Story back at shortstop, but Xander Bogaerts is a Boston Red Sox. He will always be a Boston Red Sox to me. I think
I'm right there with you.
I think it's the easiest move they need to make this. It's the number one move they need to make this offseason is re-signing Xander and then extending Devers because they're a good team. They made the ALCS last year. They just had a down year this year. I mean, a couple pieces here and there. I think the Red Sox are right there again in the AL
absolutely.
East. So
especially if the Yankees lose Judge, that division could flip upside down. So
no doubt, all 5 teams in that division could be. It's the best division in the league
right now, yeah.
we'll see what the Rays do with this whole trade scenarios we've been hearing online, but I think the Red Sox have to re-sign Xander Bogaerts.
Agreed.
I agree.
All
All
right.
right. Into
Trey Turner.
our next guy.
Trey Turner.
I'm going with my gut instinct. I'm saying Philadelphia Phillies. He wants to go back to the East Coast, I've heard. He's going to be a good fit in Philadelphia. He's going to hit 30-plus home runs there. And I think he's buddies with Bryce Harper. I may have read.
Yeah, they
or
played in
heard
Washington together, so
Oh, dude. Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
yeah. I was saying,
Yeah.
okay.
Kevin Long is the hitting coach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I see him in Philadelphia, and he's going to have a monster 30 season,
All right. Well,
you know what? Too, they're going to pay him. They're going to pay him. They got a taste of the World Series, and they want to go back and they want to win it all. They're going to pay him, and I think we're going to see some massive contracts.
Yeah.
From these.
Do you want to go?
Top 10 guys.
Do you want to go next, Max? Because I have probably the hottest take ever with Trey Turner.
I haven't gone to Phillies.
Okay, same reasons. Yeah. All right, now
he's going to get 300, plus.
So
he deserves it.
Yep.
I don't know why.
Hurt, he's the best. He's the best shortstop in the league.
Oh, absolutely. So I don't know why this came to me, but I have Trey Turner signing with the Angels.
Oh my God, dude!
I deserve to be suplexed.
That is an Angels move, in my opinion. They signed Rendon in 2019. I mean, I think Trey Turner is playing in Anaheim next year. I mean, for a franchise that doesn't realize they need starting pitching, I think they could easily go out and sign a big name bat this offseason and just add on to the narrative that they don't know how to win. You can have guys like Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani, now Trey Turner, Anthony Rendon, and they're still not going to make the playoffs.
Can we agree that the Angels have overtaken the Padres as the most mid team in the league?
Angels definitely have overtaken us as the most laughable franchise in the league. Just because
they do have a World Series, but
they do have a World Series, but they have Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. I love the Angels, but they suck.
Dude, I don't think they're gonna.
Angels, Angels are the worst ran team in the league, and I believe that because, you have teams like the Pirates, who are obviously not good.
Not good.
But they know they're not good. And, they don't sign, Anthony Rendon. So what was it, 8 years, $272 million or something like that?
Yeah, he nearly got a Machado contract.
Right. So, you don't see the Pirates doing that stuff. They know that they're young and they're rebuilding, which I think the Angels need to take notes and get rid of Ohtani. Don't get rid of Trout. Keep him there.
Yeah.
I remember. Go ahead.
I think they've learned to, chill it with the big contracts. I like the moves some of the moves they made last year with the arms with Lorenzen, and I think they got Loop too. So
I don't think they're going to spend too much money.
Lorenzen's a free agent,
right? But they signed him.
I
liked it when they signed him last year or whatever it was.
All right, go ahead, Don. My bad.
I don't think the Angels are going to spend a bunch of money because they are selling the team. So that's why they're dead focused on selling the team and whether to trade Shohei Ohtani or extend him. Because if they just let him walk in free agency, they got to blow up the team. I mean they don't have a team to blow up, but
we're talking about the Angels though. Would they really do anything different?
Who knows what the Angels are going to do?
I don't think that the Angels are the worst ran team now that I think about it. I got to say the Rockies.
That's a close second. But
the Rockies had a franchise guy. We have Machado, right? Can you imagine Machado being traded and us paying for his contract to leave? And then just going and signing a guy that's pretty much signed Chris Bryant, the Rockies did. You trade your star and then sign another like semi-star, and he can't stay on the field. Like that's awful.
So I do agree with you. The Rockies are the worst ran team in baseball, but the Angels are the most delusional fan base in baseball, or not fan base, most franchise in baseball.
I can see that.
Because I remember the day they signed Anthony Rendon. Like, I was at Disneyland, and I remember because during the winter meetings, and then literally I see the Angels sign Anthony Rendon. I was like, well, okay. And then minutes later, Yankees sign Garrett Cole. I'm like, well, what are we doing? You guys need pitching. You have Mike Trout, Troy Ohtani. Garrett Cole's right there. He's from Southern California, went to UCLA. That is a match made in heaven to go get Garrett Cole. But they signed Anthony Rendon, and then the Yankees go get Garrett Cole. Or the year after that, they could have signed Trevor Bauer. Thank God they didn't, because that was a rough situation. But still, they didn't they need pitching, which is why I think they signed Trey Turner, because they don't know what they're doing.
You need to clip that and put it on TikTok. That's your hot take. That's gonna get us some views.
Yeah.
All right. We're moving on.
Yeah, let's move on to
All right, next guy.
Carlos Correa.
I got Carlos Correa, the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Ew.
It sucks, but it's gonna happen, guys.
So, you know what I don't understand?
And then the fans are gonna flip. Hey, Barty. And then the
That's
fans are gonna completely flip, act like he never cheated to begin with, and he's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
that's what I don't understand. How, as basically the ringleader of the whole 2017 Astros sign stealing scandal, Dodger fans hate that guy, but they're rumored to sign him, and everyone's like, "Oh, we'll take Carlos Correa. It's not that bad." Like, weren't you just asking him to like dig his own grave right now, just because of him stealing a World Series from you guys in 2017? I just don't understand it.
I could go on all day about Dodger fans, but
We're not
trying
going
to
to
keep it
because
like informative on the show, since it's
Yeah.
our second show. That I think it'd be a great move for the Dodgers. I mean,
It would be.
makes the most sense for me.
It would
He's gonna
absolutely be a
want
great
a bunch
move.
of money, and the Dodgers have it. So
It would undoubtedly be a great move for the Dodgers, but it's just the fan aspect that I don't understand. So
Well, look, it's going to sound crazy. Carlos Correa, Atlanta Brave, 2023, going to happen. 300 plus mil.
I like that.
And I have them getting another guy, but they want another World Series. You can't just win one World Series and be like, okay, we're happy. They're signing guys like Albies, like Acuna,
To these mediocre contracts.
Michael Harris.
Well, they're doing it the right way.
Absolutely.
Austin Riley, even. So they have their core, and they can afford to supplement those pieces with a guy like Carlos Correa.
Ronald could have easily gotten 300 plus million, but what he signed for 170?
I think 7 years,
I want to say it was
100
8
million.
years, 100 million.
I think that was Albies.
No, Albies was like 735.
Yeah,
something
dude.
like that.
I don't understand how Alex Anthopoulos does it. I wish AJ Preller could have that sort of like wheeling and dealing, but oh my goodness, the Braves.
They see a guy and they let him play like 20 games, and that's your free trial's up when
Yeah.
you
I mean, look at who they have locked up. They have Matt Olson, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies, Ronald Acuna. They have their whole core locked up for the next.
Got to lock up Fried.
And these are going to look like absolute steals in a couple of years.
Just look at Albies already. Dude is a top 5 second baseman in the league. They signed him $735. What was it? I think that was what it was.
I think it was
$5 million a year.
And I believe in all these guys that the Braves have too. Like,
oh, I know.
None of them are frauds, in my opinion. The closest one to a fraud is Dansby Swanson.
And there's a reason why we're not talking about him already as an Atlanta Brave.
Right.
Yep. I don't think he's coming back.
And I mean, think about it. Like,
Carlos Correa.
There's a reason they didn't sign Swanson, or extend him.
So Correa, back to Correa.
All right.
I have him going to Philly.
Okay.
I know you guys had, I think it was Trey Turner going to Philly or Xander, whatever it was. But I have Carlos Correa as a Philadelphia Philly. I think that fits him. It's a crazy fan base. He's a guy that wants the limelight. He's a guy that's going to want the bag. David Dombrowski, I'm sure, is willing to give it to him. Look at even the owner too. Like, look at them. They re-signed Harper, or they signed Harper, 13 years. I think Correa to the Phillies is a move that we'll be talking about come opening day.
Well, everyone talks about, Correa's bat, but let's not forget he won a platinum glove, Philly,
He's an
we know
incredible fielder.
yeah, the fielding is a little bit of a problem over there. We've seen it
A
in the
little bit.
past. Yeah, we've seen it in the past couple years. So I could see that, Bryce. I
Yeah.
definitely could.
All right, we're down to our final two of this
All
first
right.
section.
1 second. 1 second. I need a prop for the next one.
All right, well, see, it's on here already.
It's definitely going to be.
We're going to be talking about
cast.
Jacob deGrom.
Yep.
I might as well start since we are waiting for
ready.
Jacob. There you go.
I'm ready.
I'll start with deGrom. I think it's the Atlanta Braves. I think Jacob deGrom is pitching in the Braves uniform. I don't know why it's such a good fit, but it just seems right.
I think we all have him going to the same spot.
Here's where I have him going. The Braves!
Frank the
He's
Tank.
done with Bluebird and signed Darren Ruff and
Dude, that is Frank the Tank's
Braves.
absolute nightmare, dude.
I love Frank the Tank, and I feel bad.
I love Frank the Tank, dude.
I love that guy, but oh my goodness, someone got to check on him.
Yeah,
man. That guy is like exactly what a Mets fan like. That's why we wanted the Mets in the playoffs, because we knew they would shrink like that.
Yeah,
the fans at least.
So
yeah, I got him going to the Braves.
Are we all in consensus that Jacob deGrom will be a Brave in 2023?
I think we do.
Yeah, okay. I think the Rangers make a good run at him, but go to the Braves, and the Mets are going to freak out and spend a bunch of money.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's a dark horse candidate nobody's really talking about is the San Francisco Giants for deGrom. Yeah. You can see him going there too. But I do have him going to the Braves. But watch out for the Giants.
There was talks that we could go after deGrom. I don't see it. I don't see how we have the money for that.
No,
but
they're not doing that.
If you sign deGrom, you're not signing anyone else.
Exactly.
To be honest with you, deGrom's great, right? We all didn't want to face him in the playoffs, and who would? But if you have the money for deGrom,
do it.
Have a Rodon plus another like Jock Peterson, rather than just a deGrom.
Yeah, you want quantity over quality right now.
Yeah,
deGrom's going to get 40 plus million a year. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, especially with the Tatis and Machado contract, them trying to re-sign Juan Soto. I don't think deGrom's the right move. Exactly. I don't think deGrom's the right move for the Padres right now.
The thing though is deGrom's only going to be 2 or 3 years, maybe 4.
Still, but you're looking at 40 plus mil contract.
Yeah. And
a guy that's been injured a lot lately.
Whether he's faking it or not, there is the injury scares there too.
So I don't know. I don't know about deGrom to the Padres, but to the Braves, yeah. All right, the main event, the last one.
Number one free agent.
Probably the easiest decision that we're going to make all day.
I think we're all in agreement.
And that's going to be Aaron Judge.
Aaron Judge will
pretty sure we all have him.
Yankee.
Yeah,
Yankees.
We all have to go back to the Yankees. Absolutely.
Yep. Watch out for the Giants.
If it's not the Yankees, it's the Giants. But I can't see Aaron Judge in a different uniform next year.
Yankees somehow lost Aaron Judge. That fan base, that organization would be in shambles for years.
I mean, the guy just hit 62 home runs.
Yeah, you can't lose him.
He is the best thing that's happened at the Yankees since Derek Jeter.
And he's not going to sign until like late February.
Yep.
Could sign tomorrow. kidding. I don't know. That'd be crazy. But
he's gonna get he's gonna get a lot of money. Like
He's
a
not going to get a
lot
lot of
money.
years. He's going to get like 7 years.
Yep, 7-8 years. 300 something million.
He'll be in the 40s. I think. Yeah, he'll be in the 40s.
Yep. All right.
Huh.
He'll
What do you
he'll
think, Bryce?
surpass Mike Trout's AAV.
Interesting news right now from John Morosi on Twitter. Las Vegas will host the Oakland A's and Cincinnati Reds in a 2-game spring training series this upcoming March. Maybe a prelude to the A's moving to Vegas.
Yeah, they're moving to Vegas.
I think this is the first step. Not the first step. There have already been multiple first steps, but this is probably the next step in the A's relocating to Vegas. So
Yeah, Vegas is taking over. I mean, they got a hockey team. They got a
football team.
They got a football team. They're already set to be the next expansion team for the NBA when they go to 32 teams eventually. And
Vegas and Seattle, right?
Yeah.
Well, could think about relocating teams also. Like look at the
Right.
Kings.
I think they want to expand the NBA.
Yeah, I would too, but
yeah, I got the A's moving to. I got the A's signing a deal with the
Las Vegas,
Nevada.
Nevada Sports Authority, whatever it is.
All right. Wow,
All
that
right.
was a lot of. That was 27.
Hour and a half.
All right.
It's pretty cool. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
How jacked my
Hardy.
dog is.
Already.
All right. Well,
All right.
Yeah,
thanks.
I think we're good. I mean,
we'll have the second tier free agents sometime this week, I'm sure.
Yep.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
all right.
Sounds good then. All right. Well,
All right.
we'll catch you guys next time on In Play.
Peace.
I'm Bryce Bautista. It's Max Reyes and Jacob Redondo.
Yep.
Have a good day.
All right.
Have a great day.